loved South of Ordinary. And one of the things that has always stuck with me, and I'm sure I'm not unique, but you have a deep theme about finding your sense of home, like literally honoring the fact that you actually want a place that stays a place. Like you don't want to be
Yeah, that's what the
constantly.
book was about.
Yeah. It was about your life with Dave, but it really was about your own journey, like realizing, hey, I have some things that are innate to me that I need to be true to.
Yeah.
And I just so related to all your themes and following after somebody who has a big vision and a crazy dream and always living on the edge of somebody else's dream and always being terrified when really your heart just wanted like a home, you know? I so related to your book. I
Exactly.
recommend it to everybody.
That is so exactly true. And that's the inner story of
Mhm.
that book. And I had no idea when I first wrote it what it really was. And then I think in the second edition, I did understand that actually that's what I wanted, was my home, trying to
Right.
find a home. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in you rewriting the story, your story comes through. Like you said, you feel like you were maybe whiny in the beginning or too much of a victim. In the second version, you're not a victim at all. You're in a process of discovering who you actually are. And
Hmm.
you're not a victim of Dave, you're in a process of discovery. And so it's a very different experience when the story is different.
Oh, that's so good to hear that that came across. That's what I was trying to accomplish.
Loud and clear. And the other thing that totally jumped out at me in both your books, but it really struck me in South of Ordinary, you are an amazing scene writer. Like from the first page, your scenes are so vivid. I can picture the curtains and the textiles that are in the room and the way you describe the scenes when you're traveling and everything. Like, how did you learn how to write such vivid scenes? Because a lot of people really struggle with that.
Oh, see, that's what I love about writing memoirs so much is getting your head in that space and just remembering what it looked like. I think Natalie Goldberg's books, Writing Down the
Mhm.
Bones, yeah, that was hers,
Mhm.
and Old Friend from Far Away. She talks a lot about using the senses and creating scenes with colors and using visual cues. So and that helped me a lot in learning how to do it.
Mhm.
I love that part of memoir, remembering being in that scene. And I'm sitting there all safe at home writing, and I'm remembering the time I'm in Guatemala and we're hiking up the volcano and I'm scared to death. But then I reflect back, oh, and I can totally be in that scene, but then I feel the safety of where I am right now. It's so great to look back and be so happy that you're where you are now.
Kind of the irony of the scene is fun.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, in writing both books, what do you think are some of the most common struggles that memoir writers just continually bump up against? And what kind of coaching would you offer memoir writers?
Well, one thing is worrying about what your family's going to say.
Mhm.
That's a big thing. And so my advice, as we already said, is just go, just write and don't think about letting your family read it. When you get done, you can decide if you want to publish it, you want to change it or whatever. The second thing is feeling like you have to know where you're going. I think if you just start writing, you have to trust the process and it will all unfold beautifully without you having to figure it out ahead of time. Figuring it all out ahead of time is such a burden.
Mhm.
I mean, because you can't until you actually do the writing. So, yeah, I think those two things are some of the stumbles that we come upon as we're writing.
Yeah.
What do you call them? Not stumbles, roadblocks.
Yeah, stumbles. I like that. You know, I had a person tell me once that they weren't even willing to write down their memories because they were afraid that after they died, somebody would find them. And so they weren't willing to even journal about them. And I just thought that was really sad because I thought, wow, to be that bound up in fearing what other people might discover about you that's true. I just felt like that was really sad. What would you say to somebody, like how to overcome that fear? Do you have any thoughts on that?
That is sad because heck, once you're dead, why would you care? I mean, that's the most freeing thing. But, that person that is that tied up about it has some psychological work to do.
Mhm,
There's some healing that can be done
mhm,
and accepting your humanness because those secrets, those things you're afraid for people to read about, I guarantee you there are other people that have had the same thing.
mhm.
So maybe you just need to look at it closer and understand it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think that you're right about that. That's a real signal that maybe there's some emotional work to be done there. That'll,
Yeah, my heart goes out to her or him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a fan of writing in community, and I know you have been too. So, like, what can you tell writers about the benefits of being in a writing group? How have you found good writing groups, and what hasn't worked in some of them? What should people look for?
Okay. Well, my first writing group was St. Croix Writers in Solon Springs. And I was just barely starting to write Sunlight on My Shadow. My sister Jackie told me about it. And I'd come to the group and my voice would shake when I would read my book so bad. I just couldn't even get my breath. I was so scared. And then afterwards, people come up to me and they say, "Oh, your story is so good. You have to keep writing. Oh, I can relate to that. I adopted some children," or just real personal stories. And it just gave me so much confidence to keep going because I thought, who do I think I am writing a book? I don't
Mm.
have an MFA or anything like that. So I think that writing group really propelled me to keep writing because they were so encouraging. The downsides of writing groups is if you're in a bad one that don't have protocols and rules, when you're giving feedback to someone, it always has to be about the writing, not the writer. Like you would never say something like, that part's kind of boring to me. No, you don't say that. You give them exact reasons how they could improve it. Like say, I felt a little lost at that point, and maybe if you could more detail on this. So you're critiquing the writing. It can be shattering to be in a group with people that are things to you. I remember I was in that one class with Elizabeth at the loft. One girl said to me, "So what if your book's about a teenage pregnancy? That happens to a lot of people." And I was just shattered. So
Oh,
comments can be hurtful. So that's what you got to watch out for. Don't put yourself in that situation where people are critical because you
yeah.
don't need that. You're so vulnerable already.
You just touched on two really important doubts that I think writers can have. And one of them is the first one you named was, who do I think I am writing a book? And the second one is, lots of people have gone through that. Why do we need another book about that topic? So,
Mm.
what would you say to each of those? Like, how have you counteracted those messages? And what can you say about those? So, the first one, who do I think I am writing a book?
Oh, yeah, when you think of all the books that are published nowadays, they are written by celebrities or people that are teaching writing at colleges, have MFAs, but you're not writing to be famous, probably, maybe. I'd say write to tell your story. And so not maybe not everyone will read it, but you will change and you will be the better for it. That's the benefit. The goal of being famous or making money by writing a book is kind of remote, not very achievable, but that isn't a good reason to write a book anyway.
Mm, that's so
And
good.
so what was the second one?
The second one you said was the
Oh,
person.
everybody's had that experience.
Yeah, lots of
Yes.
people have gone through that. Like, why should you be writing a book about it?
Yeah. Well, nobody's gone through your story.
Yeah.
It's unique to everyone. And there's aspects of your story that are only yours, and many people can relate to those aspects. So it's always can be fresh. The storyline or the events are not what makes a book. It's what's underneath and all the details that go with it. So
Yeah, on your YouTube channel, Coffee with Jude, in one of your videos, you talk about the inner story and the outer story.
mm,
And I think a lot of times people think the story is the outer story, but in
yeah,
memoir, it's really the inner story that's the story. So, like,
exactly.
getting at this idea of lots of people have gone through teen pregnancy, true. And yet, that's just the circumstantial stuff about your story that led you on a whole other journey that had more to
Yes.
do with you as a person. So I think that's a common way that people get tripped up. I myself have dealt with that for years, thinking, lots of people have been through some of the stuff I have. There's probably nothing new to say about it. But I'm not actually, my memoir, I'm not trying to say anything new about childhood sexual abuse. People have written about it, but it was my journey in that circumstance. So, anyways, I think that's an important distinction. And I loved your
Exactly.
video training on that. So,
Exactly.
yeah, that's great. Well, so you've got two memoirs under your belt. You continue to write. You've got a great YouTube channel, a great Substack. So all the things. So you're both doing your own writing, you're helping writers. What else? What's next for you? Or what else are you actively working on right now? Or what's bringing you like the greatest joy in your writing life?
Well, the videos are so much fun because actually it's kind of like a revising project to me because I love revising. About 4 years ago, I recorded a series of videos to teach people how to write. It's specifically for memoir. And I wasn't real happy with them because they weren't that professional. So they've just been sitting on my computer. I have all this content and I'm going through it. And so it's easy to do a little introductory video and take little snippets out of that. That's what's jazzing me up right now. I write in my journal every day like I have, but I don't have any writing big book projects in the works. I'm just really excited about Substack and my YouTube channel, Coffee with Jude.
I love it. Okay, so where can people find your books and how can they follow you?
Okay, my books are on Amazon, South of Ordinary, and Sunlight on My Shadow. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com, Coffee with Jude. And Substack is substack.com, Coffee with Jude. So I'd love it if people would subscribe if they're interested in my videos. And I'm going to be talking a lot about writing memoir.
Oh, that's so great. Judy, this
My
Jude.
journey.
I had to break my habit. This has
It's
been
okay,
so
I'm
much
Judy
fun.
too.
Okay, last parting words. Any more pearls of wisdom to offer memoir writers? Anything that's on your heart that you just really want to be sure people know today about what they're working on?
What comes up for me is thank you so much for your thoughtful questions. And I really enjoyed this session with you. And I miss you. And I wish we lived closer so we could be together more. And I hope we can work more in the future. And as far as other writers, pearls of wisdom, I think I've dropped enough already. The well's kind of dry right now in that aspect.
Well, cheers to you. Coffee with
Okay,
Jude.
coffee with Jude again
Cheers.
with Marion. Coffee with Marion. Thank you so much. It was
Thanks,
fun.
Judy.
Bye, Mary.